So we are at the entrance to the Etihad University, and we're going to start the secret Albert Einstein tour. Now, there is a tour guide here to help start with it, but I'm going to have to give you a little help with how to get to some of these things. So we start in here, and you're going to go in here all the way to the top to what they call the bibliothèque, which is the library, and that's level H. We're here in floor H at the main building. As you can see, we're in front of the Etihad Bibliothèque, which is the library. And if you come around this corner, you'll find this board on Albert Einstein, the Swiss years. Now, what you want to do, select English, and then you can go through and actually find out a lot of interesting stuff. I never realized this, in the end of 1894, Einstein breaks off his schooling in Munich and follows his family to Milan. So there's a lot of very interesting information. And then at the end, you can even take a quiz. We're on floor F, and if you go to this mural here, which actually is a tribute to the inspiration of the engineer who built the Acropolis, and you go to your right, if you make it down that hall and then all the way to the end and go to the left, there will be a big surprise. In the hallway of lockers, we have one up here, which is Albert Einstein's. And when you open it up, and this is out in the open. The books are right here. There's his pipe. This is pretty incredible. All right, we're going to go into the first observatory to observe sunspots.
Sorry, get use of tours. One more thing that you can do is find I don't know, I know it in the US, I don't know it in Europe too well. Really senior people in these diagnostic companies.
And that is the observatory that they turned into a bar. As you can see, there are some astronomers in there having a meeting. So this place is, the historical building is still in use today. Now, if we come over here, there's a telescope. Well, there's a telescope. And it has to do with the historic observatory that was built here, and Gottfried Semper, and he discovered the constellation here, the Fox. And if you look through the telescope, you can actually see the constellation. But really, it's focusing on this over here, which is the constellation they put on the wall. Now, this is another observatory. We're going to go inside, take a look at this. It is the Rudolf Wolf Saal, with the Semper, which is the person who found the constellation. But that is after Wolf, who actually put that together, that observatory together, to look at sunspots. We're going to go inside. So in that observatory that we were just in, you could see that was the insides back in 1911, and that is the telescope that Wolf found sunspots. And he documented them, and this inside the exhibit is where you can see about Dr. Rudolf Wolf and how he documented sunspots, the first to do it with the observatory that was specifically designed to do it. And you can see that at the Zurich University, ETH. Inside the museum, they have a section here in the building that is dedicated to observing the heavens, as you can see. Not only that, but navigation. So you can see early compasses. That's one of the first boxed compasses right there. And if you've ever been to Positano and the Amalfi Coast, you'll know why that is important, and we'll get into that a little later. But then you can see the compasses here, and then using the sextants, what we use for or what they were using for navigation in space, and that was just to get the measurements of the stars. As they get more accurate, see with the sundials, then that leads us all the way to the ship's clock. And these were clocks that were on the ship, and you can see over there, that part right there, that's a thermometer, and that was to keep the accuracy of the clock, because that's what they used to figure out longitude on the ship, was the time on where they were, and then they would measure with the sextants where the sun was and what the time of day was, which they got from this clock, and then they could tell their position. So what does this all have to do with Einstein? Well, it has to do with the fact that he helped with GPS. And GPS uses satellites and figures out where you are on the planet with time. And you can see that Einstein was part of this advanced study, which was founded in Princeton. You can see here Einstein and Oppenheimer, which with the famous movie, they started institutes all over the world to open up mathematics and science. And that's what all this had to do with Einstein. There's the observatory where we once were. Now we're coming up the stairs. We're going to go up this path to one of Einstein's residences, and also why it is so important. We just came up that walk, and we turned down this area, and this is very important to Einstein. This is one of his houses when he lived, or one of his residences, but this is the first place he bought. And the important thing of what he bought here is what it was used with, his money from winning the Nobel Prize in physics. So, he can't go in, but the house is still here. So this is Einstein residence that he bought for his family with the money he won from the Nobel Prize in physics. We're We're in Zurich, Switzerland, just upside the lake by the river here. And at 12 Vervosen, here is a restaurant. Well, it's a cafe bar called Metropole. Now, this is supposedly where Albert Einstein went to have drinks and coffee. So this is inside the Cafe Metropole, and this is associated with Albert Einstein because he liked to drink. So we got a cappuccino, a little bit of chocolate. We're going to try the cappuccino here, see what it's like. That is extremely good. We're going to have a little bit of the chocolate. This is definitely a place to come, especially on a cold winter day like today. So this is the Metropole Cafe Bar. You see over there. And you can just imagine Einstein sitting down, maybe having a coffee, or over at the bar having a drink, and thinking about where mass comes from and what happens if we accelerate it to the speed of light. We hope you enjoyed our secret Einstein tour here in Zurich, Switzerland, and we hope that you can, when you come here and visit, to get a little bit more insight to Albert Einstein and the city of Zurich. Thank you.